Four saviors are back, and we have Hardy Fighter 4 coming on this banner. Let's just jump into it with Felicia here and talk about our melee nuke with the nice little icicle axe. I like the art on this. I'm trying to figure out where this unit fits though, and that's a little bit hard given the... We've just recently had this huge boon in melee nukes where they do a lot of different things, and I'm not sure she quite holds up to that. We have adaptive damage, we have slaying, and then we have this crazy thing that talks about giving out neutralizes effective against dragons, and that goes to either a support partner or the unit with the highest res. Then we have some more damage dealing things. If unit initiates combat or they're within 3 of this ally that they gave neutralizes effective against dragons, you get attack speed defense res equals 5 plus 15% of unit speed at start of combat, deals damage equals 20% of unit speed, and reduces the percentage of foes. Well, it's piercing, but it's 50% piercing. And then, of course, reduces damage from foes' first attack by 40% during combat. So all of this is nice. We've had this huge surge in melee nukes right now. If we look at the rest of the kit there, we have attack speed excel, which I love. We have speed res near trace, which is okay. On this unit, it's fantastic. The extra damage is nice. The extra stats are great. And then you have odd speed wave 4, which I have recently become a huge fan of just because of how many different calves really love tempo that have been able to get up 4. So I love the fodder on this unit. That's pretty great. The problem is when we really dig into the rankings, and so I kind of struggle. I try to put this unit as a support unit first, and it's clearly not where this unit belongs. I've got her in the Lapis range as far as melee nukes go. Lapis is another one that doesn't just absolutely knock your doors off, but does provide a lot of neat support along with what she does. And I kind of feel like this goes in with her. Now, this is really meant more to just look at your killing power, but I will say the bump goes to Lapis because I think she has a near effect on top of that. So it's kind of one of those tie things. You do notice that I've kind of rearranged this, and I've got Felix up there first because of how crazy he can be dealing damage and getting where that damage goes. I've got Sharena and Alphonse because of course they're in tier 1. That's kind of perfect, and I didn't realize it till right now. Then we've got some other folks that deal damage and still do a good job, but we're very top heavy right now. And that's a lot of what happens when we continually have the power creep churn that we've had. A lot of the units at the very top are very good, and then they fall off very quickly. So it's something we've been seeing in a lot of these tier lists lately. There's a huge drop off between tier 1 or tier 2 and whatever goes below. Still, this unit is very usable, and if Felicia's your favorite, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. You need to find a dragon to pair her with. So that's, yeah, and it's a speedy dragon you want to pair her with. So I mean, really, they almost want you to put this unit with another cav dragon. So maybe this is supposed to go with Niffle, but I'm not seeing a clear use case, but I do think this is a very fun unit. Okay, next we have Thea, and I struggle with this one. I was trying to find where this unit fits, and I finally, it came to me. So one of the things we've been seeing in this rise in Gale Force, and a piece of Gale Force that has kind of been neglected for quite a bit is any of the triangle attack type things. Triangle attack, double strike, both of those can be used to great effect. And I think that's really what this unit is meant to be. You see, you've got the slaying in there. You've got triangle attack, Canto to units within 2 spaces, which is really neat. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, you get Omni +5 plus number of times dragon flowers have been used on unit ×2, which is basically you get +15. I don't know why you're gonna have enough dragon flowers to max that up. That's just what you're gonna do. Reduces the percentage of foes non-special, so this is piercing, this 50%. Reduces damage from foes' first attack by 7. That flat damage reduction is very good, and that includes brave attacks. And grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. You can kind of see where this is. Survivability is the thing, and this unit is supposed to go in, survive, smack things, and get Gale Force off. which they should be pretty good at. Iceberg on there, I mean, it's more the ice banner theme. Pegasus Rift is interesting, and it's something you can keep on here. We're going to get to air orders in just a second, but the added mobility that this unit is giving to your team is something that's kind of fun for the niche that they're kind of putting her in. Probably what you'd want to do there is Wings of Mercy 4 if you're just a die-hard Gale Force fan. Keep in mind, you can also do hit-and-run style things with this, and so that is an option. Kanto 1 is not really going to be towards that. You really want more than Kanto 1 to do hit and run, but still, that's something you can look at for this unit. What I'm really saying is Pegasus Rift is interesting, it's a lot of fun, but you're probably going to want to swap that out for something like Wings of Mercy 4. If we're moving on, we're going to get to this C skill, which I think this is fun. Like, this is an interesting thing. It was mentioned that this just absolutely destroys Hinoka's niche, and I mean, that's very true. You can now put this charge thing on everyone and just go to town. But yeah, this is, at start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6, charge, and the following status to unit and flying allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn. And that's unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces. You can kind of see how this is going. And if you want to pair this unit with someone like Golveg and go away from the AoE builds and get something more like what we're doing here with the with the Catria Ball style clear, I think this is something you can do, and that's a lot of fun. It's a great place for this unit, and because we constantly have things that are countered from AoEs and all of that, this is kind of a sneaky way to get your Gale Force clears in. I've seen a lot of these for many years, and they usually don't get countered because not a lot of people adopt them. I think this is a good unit, though. If we look at the rankings quick, I'm not going to tell you this is just a top tier Gale Force unit. The main thing she's missing is an extra action. Right now, you almost have to have a free extra action in order to be an elite Gale Force unit. But as a support, I think she does a really good job, and I've got her in that tier 2 range. And if you like this unit, I think that's a good way to use her. All right, I normally gloss over these units a little more, the demotes. This is a dagger cav. This one is interesting though, just because of the dagger. This is a really good dagger, especially for inheritable. So you've got the adaptive damage, which is, at this point in the game, is just okay. We have so many bulky units that build up both defense and res that adaptive damage has dropped off a lot. But then we have, if unit initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, you get an Omni +5. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and has piercing of 50%. That's kind of incredible for an inheritable, and I am a huge fan of that. I thank you, IS. This is a good weapon. We appreciate it. Disarm Trap 3 has... Disarm Trap in general has fallen off a bit because dagger units in general have fallen off. But it's always nice to have that fodder, and I do think dagger units will eventually come back. So be on the lookout for that. But Ice Dagger Plus, if you've got an old dagger that you're revamping, this is a neat way to do that. Okay, now we're going to get to the headliner here, and this is Fjorm and Niffle. This is a Lance armor. First up, we have Ice Crystal Spear, and this is a lot to go over. This is Slang. If foe initiates combat, at start of combat, grants bonus to units, attack, speed, defense, res equals 5 plus number of allies within 3 spaces of unit times 3. Most of the time, I just look at that as the max of 14. In most cases, that's where you're going to go. And reduces damage from foe's attack by 20% of unit's speed. That is quite nice. If you just look at her flat stats in the video, she does have a bonus to speed, but that's 53. 20% of that's going to be in the 10 range, which is really, really nice right off the top, flat damage reduction. And then we have healing of 7 HP. That is fantastic. I missed a line in there. We've got neutralizes penalties on unit, neutralizes effects that guaranteed foe's follow-up attack, and effects that, so we have full no follow-up there. And then if foe within range equals 2 initiates combat, neutralizes effects that prevent units' counterattacks during combat. So it's that ranged NCD that we've seen on Fjorm so many times. It's really good. This is excellent. Dual ice mirrors. When special triggers, if foe is 2 spaces from unit, reduces damage from foe's attack by 40%. Remember, that's in the special, so that's not pierceable. After special triggers, unit's next attack deals damage equals total damage, so it's the whole reflective damage thing that we've seen with ice mirrors so many times. And then it also has piercing, and it also gives out distant counter for free. That there's no condition to that. It just for free gives out distant counter. We have seen how good that is, just getting that for free anywhere. In the special, it's especially good. We have Deluge Boost 3. I am still trying to think of a better A skill. I just have this feeling like there's something out there. I went really quickly through the Kana DB and I didn't see anything though. So this might be the best you get for now, but know that the nice thing about getting distant counter for free in the special is that you can upgrade things like the A skill. So keep that in mind. But I mean, we've seen this before. It's got guard. It's fantastic. It gives some extra stats. Let's move on because we've still got a big thing here. Shield Fighter inflicts attack speed -4 on foe during combat. If foe's attack can trigger unit special, triggers the following effects during combat, grants special cooldown -1 to unit before foe's first attack. So it's countering the whole scowl thing, which we're seeing everywhere right now. If foe's first attack triggers the attack twice effect, it grants it on both attacks. And grants special cooldown -1 to unit before foe's first follow-up attack. So they're just throwing every kind of anti-scowl thing on this unit that they possibly can. They want dual mirrors to go off for sure. That's just really what's going on. And yeah, if foes attack trigger unit special and special has reduces damage by X% effect, special triggers twice, then reduces damage by 7. Each special trigger is calculated as a separate activation. So, I mean, we've seen Hardy Fighter and how it works and how effective it is, and this is pretty dang good. What we don't see here is the usual special acceleration the way it worked before. The reason that is significant is because the way Hardy Fighter worked before, you could get around it on defense. So if on offense you were coming in and attacked on turn 1, then Hardy Fighter hadn't charged up Aegis or Sacred Cowl or whatever special was going on. This is not going to have that problem. This is going to be a huge unit that you see on defense. This is going to be very, very big. This is a unit that you're going to need to be able to counter if you're doing ranged Gale Force. This is directly coming for anyone with Gulveg. Like that is just pretend she doesn't exist anymore. This is it. This is the thing you are going to be trying to counter. You do notice this doesn't have any kind of scowl on this unit, which is significant, but there are a lot of really nice things to like about this if you're a Savior fan. I think in particular, she's going to be bigger on defense and very, very big on summoner duels. But I want you to remember the longevity of the original Fjorm, which keep in mind, she stayed pretty relevant for about a year. But we've seen how speed creep works, and this is a unit that is going to rely on her speed. So that is not to say this is a bad unit, but if you look at someone like Brave Hector or even a lot of the other units right now, the reason that they get to stay around so long is when they don't rely on that and they've dumped their stats into something else. When you are a speedy tank, you have to rely on more stats than if you're just a bulky tank who dumps all of your speed. So keep that in mind. That is not to say this is a bad unit. This is a warning for anyone who wants to plus 10 this unit. If this is your favorite, go right ahead. But remember, I'm not recommending you plus 10 anyone right now outside of favorites or offensive mythics. That's just the way it goes. I will be going for a +1. So understand that this is a very good unit and a unit that you should be looking out for. But we have Divine Vein Ice, but it goes everywhere. This is huge. Let's look at how big this area is. And I mean, you can read it, but it's another thing to actually see it on the screen. This goes crazy. And wha-bam. That's terrifying. Like that is so much. This is really going directly at Summoner Duels. I think we're going to see a lot of overreaction to this. And I'm not saying this isn't good. This is very good. Don't get me wrong on that one. But understand that we have a lot of different terrain effects. And I think we're going to see some interesting play and counterplay to that. Things in Summoner Duels move very, very fast. But I think this unit is going to be very popular in that mode, as well as defense and offense. Like this is a very, very nice armor. And keep in mind, up until this point, we had only gotten 7 armors this year. That is ridiculously low. That's about half as many as we normally get by this point. So understand how stingy they've been with those. They really wanted you to go with Omni tanks. Let us move over to the rankings though. I've got this unit ranked as the best Far Savior in the game. Understand that it is very difficult to evaluate tanks right now because of all the different interactions. My guess is that essentially what's going to happen is everyone in this tier list moves 1 space down. I really think that's where we are going to be. We'll find out very soon, but I need to get this unit in testing first. Keep in mind the thing about Myrrh is she also has the anti-warp. And that is such a big deal in the meta right now. So I still think she will definitely have value, but I really am leaning towards Fjorm being the most valuable Far Save in the game. Again, we have to get this unit in testing though. That is something that we are really going to have to look at. I mean, the rest of these are pretty self-explanatory. Amelia is much better than you think. The only reason she is under Byleth is simply because he has a duo skill. The NCD is also nice, but Amelia is an excellent unit. Past that, again, we have that big drop off. I do like Zelgius. I think Zelgius is fun, and I think Corrin is better than folks give her credit for. It high merges she can still perform along with the Tikis. Duma and Marth are definitely down. They can still function, but you're probably not going to be using those two a whole lot. I think really what you're going for is that tier 0 or tier 1, where a lot of these tier lists I show you have options all the way down. The support tier list is one of those, where you can use units all the way down the tiers. For Far Saviors, it's a little different, but again, just a word of warning. Watch out for this unit falling off because of needing so many stats to function. We've seen this with speedy tanks over and over in the last couple years. If you are more interested in the fantastic art of Fire Emblem and want to see more summoning videos, I would suggest you head over to Kenmei. I'm going to try to showcase more of these smaller Fey tubers in the end here because I'd really like to grow the community more. She is absolutely fantastic. She does a lot of the art for this channel and I love her. She's amazing. Members, you are incredible. Thank you for all you do. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.